Alright. Alright, professional victim fatigue. Let's see.
Like, improve public safety for disabled folks every day, you know?
What?
Oh, no thank you. Anyways,
For those of you who are confused, no, this masking video is not from 2020. It was released recently, like a month ago, and you have someone who is still saying that everyone has to wear a mask for COVID, because if you don't, then you're a bad person who deserves to be shamed for wanting to live your life normally. This person actually does a lot of masking propaganda, so let's see why.
why do you talk about masks all the time? Because the pandemic never ended. The government just removed emergency status and normalized sacrificing our most vulnerable.
You know, it's weird how they were able
Okay, they can wear the masks. I'm not gonna.
to drop the
Never wanted to.
emergency status and everything seems fine.
I'd be the guy that like put it around my chin, you know? That was
It's
me.
almost like the risk of dying from COVID was heavily exaggerated and manufactured by horrendous policy decisions and the censorship of doctors with effective treatments. So this person who, by the way, works from home and doesn't have to deal with masking for an 8-hour shift is suggesting that we go back to some of the lockdown policies of a couple years ago that crashed the economy, threw a bunch of people into poverty, and damaged everyone's mental health. All for a disease that's basically killing nobody these days. At some point, you have to do a cost versus benefits analysis, and if you get the short end of the stick on that, then you do what you can to protect yourself. But this whole masking 5 years after the lockdown started is not an uncommon belief, actually.
There should have never been lockdown, so it was overblown.
I've seen a lot
Yes, people died, some died, but there was no reason to shut down everything. Even though COVID was sick, dude, I loved it.
of people promoting
I mean,
it.
I want another lockdown. You know, if you'd pay me for sitting on my ass at home, I'd take that. That sounds awesome.
I'm COVID safe. If you guys aren't masking, I'm not going to be around you.
You should go out more. It better be free. If I'm going out, it has to be free. And there needs to be barely anyone in sight because, yeah, COVID and people aren't masking.
For context, both of those videos were filmed this year. Here's a whole page dedicated to masking propaganda with a comic that says, "Not masking is eugenics," followed by the caption talking about how the creator is mad that normal people on the left don't want to wear a mask every time they go outside.
Masking is eugenics.
Are you just going to wear a mask forever? Yeah. I can only imagine the tyranny we would live
Bro, okay, you can do what you want. Wear a mask, weirdo. I will instantly judge you. And that's okay. You should be judged.
under if this person got any political power. But more importantly, everyone is just tired of this
Yeah,
type
who
of
would listen
person
to that?
constantly playing victim and then using that to either tell everybody what to do or demand free shit. We're all tired of this, or fatigued as one might say. Because the ones who play the victim game are always the most sociopathic, self-centered, and awful people, so no one's being fooled by this fake compassion anymore.
Why don't just disabled people wear masks then? Some disabled and immunocompromised people cannot get vaccinated or wear a mask due to medical reasons, which is why it's crucial you should if you can. Where should I mask then? Everywhere?
Dude, why can't they wear a... They can fucking wear the mask. I'm not gonna. Go, like, stay at home, weirdo.
You should mask anywhere you think disabled people deserve to exist in safety. P.S. That's every public place.
For the record, this person's claiming that she's
Bro.
disabled because she's slightly autistic. Now, for one, never getting sick is bad for your immune system and makes you more vulnerable.
She's saying she's disabled?
Two, being alive always carries risk, and nobody is masking every time they go outside forever.
It's like saying people should stop driving cars because I might get run over.
In the
Look both ways before you cross the street, stupid bitch.
extremely small chance they come
Jesus.
across someone who has a compromised immune system and can't mask if they want to. Like, that's such a rare thing that realistically I think this person's just overly fearful of catching COVID and is saying, what about these marginalized communities, to pretend that she isn't being selfish. Because calling everybody murdering eugenicists if they don't cater to what you want is kind of self-centered. Anyway, for those of you who didn't see the prior videos, this pink-haired person is Courtney, who is a 28-year-old asexual autistic person with low support needs who also has ADHD. Did I get all those tags perfectly correct? I wouldn't want to be called a bigot.
Oh my gosh, I had an autistic meltdown this weekend and went nonverbal. Actually, that would be a verbal shutdown. Huh? Because being non-speaking or nonverbal is the permanent state of using words and other forms besides voice. You don't experience that, and you don't have to co-opt someone else's language to describe that experience.
Right, the asshole is the person who made the honest mistake and not the
Dude, the thing that blows my mind is there are children getting blown up in Gaza right now, and people are worried about this. You know, shouldn't we like talk about actual problems? The crime is running rampant in our streets. Shouldn't we fix that? And yet we're talking about, like, I don't even know, dude, about being nonverbal, this whole fucking bullshit word salad of nothingness.
One who is
How about you just stop being a little bitch?
meticulously correcting everyone. Anyway, basically all of Courtney's content is centered around what level of the victim tier you're on, and she seems to revel in collecting various diagnoses like autism and ADHD, so she can use that to claim that she is disabled and therefore oppressed, which really is just a personality trait that everyone finds annoying, because ultimately the
You know, if the pendulum swings again to the other side, I'm going to pretend to be non-binary, and I'm gonna start wearing weird clothes. That way you can't attack me, and I'll have political power over you people.
reason that they're playing the victim
For
oppression
everybody else, and I'll play the game, okay? How about that? I'll play this stupid game.
game is to
If
shield
you can't beat them, join them.
themselves from any
Hopefully that never happens.
criticism of their behavior, which brings us to a video that I made a little while back called Why the LGBT Movement is Failing, that included an entire 10 seconds of Courtney talking about some BS about being non-binary, and I basically responded with the same sentiment of this meme here, which is that once you see the bad haircut and the pink hair, you know this person's going to be annoying and offended by everything. And I mean, was I wrong? Is the stereotype incorrect? Wow, is this what you look like without the pink anime character hair? Jeez, this is what 4 years of college will do to a person.
Should look
Now, a
better.
normal person would see criticism like that and either ignore it or make a video response. But since Courtney has the maturity of a 7-year-old like Illymation, who also thought people should not be allowed to criticize her, she decided to fight dirty and file a copyright strike on my video on her to get it removed. I made this
Nice.
video here responding to that, where I pointed out that it's ridiculous that she's striking my video over a 10-second clip. I said that she's engaging in copyright abuse to silence people she doesn't like, and I ended that video by saying that I would be fighting the strike. Now we're all caught up to everything that's already been discussed on this channel. So to continue my point about my dislike of people who constantly play the victim card, allow me to use this next segment to point out how their demeanor completely shifts the minute they feel they have the opportunity to fight dirty and victimize the people they don't like. By the way, I love how much of this parallels the Illymation drama from last year, where she tried to multiple times get me deplatformed because I made a video
My real take about all this stuff is, who cares about these people? We should ignore them. They can live their little weird lives, and they shouldn't get any say in anything ever. We should not take these people seriously, because they're not serious people. They don't provide anything. They're not useful. Bitch probably has some weird HR job on her computer or something. I don't know what the fuck she does, but whatever it is, it's not providing any value to society. So we should just ignore them. That's all it comes down to. They can have their little weird communities and talk about all these things and feel like they're doing something, and we'll just pretend they don't exist.
criticizing her. Anyway, getting to the part where she continues to fight dirty, after I released the dedicated video on her talking about her abusing the copyright system, Courtney went onto her Instagram and said this: "On today's episode of alt-right creators doing what they do best," stop, you know what's really funny? These people are so obsessed with making sure that everyone labels them properly, yet anytime they are faced with people who have differing opinions, they mislabel them as alt-right or Nazis. I'm not alt-right. Alt-right is a bunch of white supremacists who want an ethno-state, and I have openly stated many times that I don't like racism or identity politics. So it's nice to see that Courtney believes she deserves a respect that she doesn't give to other people. Moving on, Think Before You Sleep posted a large anti-trans rant video. Stop again. It was not anti-trans. It was a video talking about how sociopathic the activists are, and how even LGBT people don't like the activist. I mean, if I can't say that it's wrong for Lily Tino to dress like Miss Rachel, and then advertise an OnlyFans account on the same page, then Courtney is basically saying that people can't criticize anything a gay person does or a trans person does. Think Before You Sleep posted a large anti-trans rant video and got mad when I got it removed for copyright because it illegally used my content, and they still don't know how copyright works. They? Are you misgendering me, Courtney? I am not a they, them. And last, here's the best part. After complaining about cyberbullying, Courtney finishes by saying, "If you could thumbs down, report, or leave a good comment for me, I would appreciate it, as I'm being spammed by their alt-right followers right now." And then she leaves a link to my video in the post, followed by a screenshot showing that she watched an ad. Thanks, Courtney. I appreciate your financial support. I also appreciate how you're essentially crying about cyberbullying here as you tell your 200,000 Instagram followers to go mass flag, dislike bomb.
That's the black pill in part. How does this person have 222,000 followers? That many people watch its shit? That makes me lose faith in humanity, honestly.
Bomb and harass a creator who is defending himself against you abusing the copyright system on YouTube. How are you the victim? And keep in mind that the result of her post was that I received a shitload of negative comments from her followers, really leading by example by showing that you think that bullying is wrong. Again, I love how this all parallels the Illymation drama where she essentially did the same thing. She complains about being harassed while at the same time tells her followers to harass me, cries to Noah Samsen about it so he would tell his followers to harass me, and says thank you to and gives no pushback to a friend who said I should kill myself. And let me just mention that in both cases with Courtney and Illymation, I pretty explicitly told my followers to not comment on their videos or harass them or engage with them in any way. So Courtney, level with me for a second. How is it okay for you to...
Listen, the internet's the internet. Who cares about all that? If you can't handle the smoke, you shouldn't be on the internet as a creator, in my opinion. Because that's what the internet always has been, okay? I'm sure this is just stupid.
Make multiple videos saying everyone who doesn't wear a mask everywhere in public is a bad person, followed by passive-aggressively wishing disability on those who refuse to mask. Like, it's okay to criticize those people, but if I say I don't like pink hair, then you feel like you're morally justified in sending your audience to try to deplatform me. I mean, holy shit, these people are ridiculous, especially considering people like Illymation's good friend Noah Samsen, who's moved on to telling his followers to commit acts of terrorism. And wouldn't it be a damn shame if someone had an old deleted tweet from Illymation where she was encouraging terrorism in 2020? Wouldn't it be just horrible if someone pointed out that poor little Illymation, who was always a victim, was cheering for innocent people having the shit kicked out of them and their property being looted and destroyed? Wouldn't it be awful if someone had an archive of when Twitter likes were still public and had a post that she liked with a bunch of buildings on fire saying no justice, no peace? No wonder her and Noah get along. Both of them love terrorism. But I digress. You see, what Courtney has done here with this Instagram post is not only violate YouTube's cyberbullying policy, but she also violated Google's terms of service. Anyway, as I said in the earlier video, I will be fighting Courtney's abuse of the copyright system. The way that works is that you file a counterclaim, and the person who filed the strike has 10 business days to prove to YouTube that they filed a lawsuit or the video goes back up. Since Courtney was insistent that I had broken the law, and because she said she talked to someone at YouTube and they said it was copyright infringement, I hired a lawyer. Ethan Klein's lawyer, actually. And after I finished the initial consultation, I just started laughing. Just so everyone's up to speed, any creative work that you make like a song or a YouTube video is by law instantly copyrighted so that people can't resell it or claim it's theirs, unless they want to get sued. However, there's an exception to copyright called fair use, which says that you can use people's copyrighted works for the sake of things like parody, education, or commentary, provided that your use of the work doesn't act as a replacement for it, and provided that your input on whatever you used creates some sort of transformative change that alters how people interpret it. This is what allows for doing things like a movie review and using clips from that movie without having to ask the company. So I'm arguing that my use of Courtney's content is fair use. Now, that would have to be held up in a court of law, but since I only used 10 seconds and I gave commentary that argued against what she was saying, it's almost certain that it would be ruled as fair use. But that's not why I thought this whole thing was funny after talking to a lawyer. Now, I'm going to be brief on these specific reasons for why Courtney is screwed because I'm not trying to educate my opponent. That would be a stupid move. However, I will say that basically the reason I was laughing is because the amount of damages that she's legally allowed to pursue for copyright infringement of that 10-second clip is almost nothing compared to how much it would cost to sue me. She would be putting a second mortgage on that pink house to afford it. That's if she wins. However, if she loses, which is very likely, it would be incredibly easy for me to prove that her takedown was malicious, which means I can countersue for my lawyer fees, and that won't be cheap for her. So let me be very clear when I say that if somebody were to put me through a massive waste of time lawsuit like that and didn't have the liquid cash to pay for it, I would be brutal in trying to seize every single piece of property that they value until the fees were paid. I very much believe in the fuck around and find out policy, and if you want to get so pissy about someone criticizing your pink hair that you turn it into a legal battle, then I'll make sure that you understand why it's a stupid idea to file a lawsuit against somebody because your feelings got hurt. Because once you stop being emotional about this, you're going to realize how financially stupid this was for you. Now, as for what's happened so far legally, I filed a counterclaim and she backed down. Probably because she doesn't have a lawyer or any actual understanding of how the law works, and she doesn't want to lose a lawsuit. Actually, just for laughs, let's go over how I know she doesn't have a lawyer. For starters, she said, a person at YouTube told me it was copyright infringement, instead of saying something like, my lawyer said it was copyright infringement. Not to mention that YouTube purposefully does not...
A person at YouTube. That sounds made up. That sounds like the person who is on YouTube was you. Or maybe one of your weird friends.
Take a legal stance on these issues because they don't want to be held liable, so Courtney was probably talking to a secretary or an AI chatbot that she thought was a human. Now, let me further emphasize how stupid it is to not consult legal counsel for stuff like this, because Courtney 100% does not know how to shut the fuck up, which, as the defendant, personally, I love. So after she made that post telling everyone to mass flag my channel, she made a YouTube community post talking about my video where people were happy to confirm that they were mass flagging my video that broke no rules, which again, violates YouTube's community guidelines. Here's evidence of that. The great thing about this post is that it helps my case for fair use. Her calling me...
Dude, honestly, I don't think that there should be this report feature right here because... Or where is it? Yeah, right here. Because nobody knows YouTube's guidelines. I mean, people weaponize this. If they don't like what you're saying, if they don't like your video, if they don't like you, they can just click this little button and say, I don't know, make up some shit. I don't want to click it to see what it does, but I've never reported a video. I'm against it. Okay?
Alt-right and transphobic is a
I'm absolutely against it.
public admission that our viewpoints are diametrically opposed. Thanks, Courtney. That'll make it much easier to argue in a court of law that my commentary is transformative and fair use because I'm arguing a viewpoint that opposes yours. The great part is that she deleted this post, another indicator that she doesn't have a lawyer because deleting evidence like that is called spoliation, and there are penalties for that in court. I mean, she'd have to be an idiot to think I didn't save it. Speaking of, Courtney had no problem running her mouth all over the comment section of that post, and it would be a damn shame if somebody read through every single public comment she made and archived them. I mean, she was super arrogant about how knowledgeable she is about copyright law and how she has some sort of connections at YouTube. I guess it didn't work that well because my video is back up. Here's a comment that says, "They're weird as hell for getting upset over this. Even if it is fair use as some people claim, you have a right to not be in a video if you don't want to." There they go, misgendering me again.
These people are a cancer. Like I said, we should just ignore them. They're irrelevant, okay? Let them live their weird little stupid lives, and I'll live my awesome, amazing, cool life.
I'm not a they, them. And no, she doesn't have the right to not be criticized. Courtney is an influencer, and because she posts herself in the public square, people are allowed to comment on her.
True.
If you don't want people commenting on you, then don't post stuff on the internet. Courtney
Yes.
responds by agreeing and saying that transphobic comments make a video not fair use? What? Did I read that right? Here's a comment where she's openly acknowledging that she told her followers to go harass me and how much she appreciates them doing that. And last but not least, you could use this comment to argue that the reason that she struck the video is because of the criticism and not because any copyright infringement was committed. Let me just emphasize that we have a ton of evidence that Courtney filed that strike in bad faith. And just as a reminder for those of you who haven't seen the video that she tried to silence that's called Why the LGBT Movement is Failing, note that video was primarily about predators like Lily Tino filming in the Disneyland bathrooms with children present, advertising OnlyFans on a page that features Miss Rachel parody content intended for kids, and going into restaurants trying to get people fired in an attempt to go viral on TikTok, as well as there being a crazy mom in that video giving her kid medicine that will permanently sterilize him at 13 years old.
Dr. Olson had a decision.
You are
The kid looks... Oh, no, dude. The kid looks scared.
in the perfect place to start on blockers.
And she promised
Shit's evil, bro. That shit's evil. Yep. I said it. It's evil.
to begin giving her estrogen, female hormones, in 2 years.
Around 13. That's what I think. You're not going to wait until 16 to start. You know that, okay?
Who's the bad person here? Courtney is literally defending child predators and saying I'm the hateful one because I spent 20 seconds in a video saying I don't like her pink hair and I think she's annoying.
Where's the fucking asteroid, bro? The asteroid needs to kill us all.
Everybody is tired of people like this. Everybody is tired of adults like this who behave like 5-year-olds, wagging their fingers and telling everyone what to do.
POV, you stop living the life you thought a proper adult should and start living for what brings your inner child joy.
This is what I mean. Everyone catered to me because I'm a child. I'm afraid of COVID, so here's this drawing I made to call you a piece of shit for not wearing a mask. You know, if you're a 28-year-old who has Peter Pan syndrome and want to play with children's toys...
What? Incense. I hate this word, colonizer. I hate it now. I think we should deport all the people that hate America. Because why are they here? Go somewhere else. Go to... I don't know. Just leave. I don't care where you go. Just please leave.
Piece
go
of
to
shit.
Canada. Yeah, Canada's a better place.
for not wearing a mask. You know, if you're a 28-year-old who has Peter Pan syndrome and want to play with children's toys, eat the diet of a kindergartner, and live inside of your obnoxiously pink house that I'm sure your husband is only pretending to like because he's afraid of you, then go ahead. It's America.
husband?
Live how you want to live in private. But the minute you start bringing your childish bullshit around me is the minute that I start caring. And the minute you start pretending to be a victim as an excuse to treat people like shit is the minute I have a problem.
And that's not even considering the larger community of all disabled folks who also experience chronic stress and dysregulation from unmet accessibility needs and living in disabled bodies in a disability-hostile world.
Right, we live in a disability-hostile world where we have a ton of accommodations and legislation to help disabled people, as well as economic supports for people who are unable to work. I mean, this chick should check out World War II Germany if she wants to see a government that's hostile towards disabled people. But ultimately, this line of messaging is not helpful to the people that she claims to be.
You know, sometimes you think Hitler might have been a little based. I'm against everything he did, but sometimes when you see these people, you're like, you know, they would fix the problem. I'm not advocating for that, though. But
Advocating for, which is...
But nah, I advocate for them going to Canada. Canada's a better place for them. They'd fit in perfectly. They'd love it there. Leave America, please.
Typical of activism. And I get tired of people
We don't want you here.
who have made it their life's mission to infect others with philosophy.
Like, people trying to deport all the Mexicans that are here illegally. Most of those guys, you know, most of those wetbacks are just... They're on the roads, making them better. Or at least trying to. At least they're trying. But you got a bitch like that here telling everybody else to wear masks. Nah, deport her.
That turns them into useless
I respect Jorge, okay? He's putting in work.
victims.
And as someone who's black myself and has observed a lot of the mindsets that permeate within the black community, I think the one thing that's holding a lot of us back is the victimhood mentality. I've never been a fan of any group of people looking at me and saying, poor you because of this and that.
Right, this victim mindset is rampant in a lot of communities. And it's not helpful to anyone because it just demoralizes them into achieving far less than their potential. Usually that results in them demanding stuff from everyone that they could have just gotten for themselves. What's worse in Courtney's case, though, is that not only will she tell disabled people to avoid assimilating into normal society as much as they're able to, but also she'll tell them to self-diagnose mental disabilities, which is just the worst health advice. And apparently, this is an entire trend on TikTok.
We've seen the rise of self-diagnosed mental illness. The term neurodivergent went mainstream, which mostly referred to autism and ADHD, and it gained traction on platforms like TikTok where users self-diagnosed and demanded accommodations for these conditions, like workplace flexibility, using their conditions as an excuse to shrug off adulthood and evade responsibility in so many cases. People started collecting labels like they were personality points, non-binary, disabled, neurodivergent, polyamorous, and became offended if others didn't properly adhere to them.
Right, taking pride in how mentally ill you are is the smart thing to do, instead of getting accurate diagnoses and professional help. All TikTok is doing in this respect is making people friendless and unlikable, without giving them any perspective as to why people outside of the internet don't want to be around them.
You seemed really standoffish at first.
Gee, why would people see you like that? Well, maybe it's because half of your videos are you telling people why they can't live how they want, because it offends you, followed by using being slightly autistic or non-binary as a shield against criticism. Like, it's funny how you have perpetual victims like Courtney, but then you have people like Ricky Berwick, who doesn't give a shit and can eloquently say things like, I'm Canadian, you read...
I forgot about this guy. I love this guy.
Hard. It's weird how basically everyone I've known who has a disability in real life doesn't feel the need to make it their entire personality and really just wants to be treated as if they weren't disabled. But then you have people like Courtney who are out here ordering everyone around, calling people evil eugenicists for not complying with her demands. People like Courtney are doing a disservice to everyone who needs help or accommodation.
Do you even know what eugenics is? I don't think so.
To survive.
Fireworks suck because they scare autistic and neurodivergent people too. 4th of July.
Okay, buddy.
Is a racist holiday
Okay, buddy.
that only celebrates the freedom of a select few.
Okay.
Okay, leave. Go to Canada. Leave. We don't want you here. Leave.
And not only do we have to wear a mask everywhere, but now fireworks are bad because they offend autistic people, and the 4th of July is racist? I have to mask every day, but you can't wear earplugs for a few hours once a year? You see what I mean? Literally doing everything in her power to make everyone hate autistic people. And all irony is completely lost on her, as she is a Korean who complains about bullshit like Halloween cultural appropriation, as she dresses like an anime character from Japan. So everyone's done with this. Elon bought Twitter and stopped banning people for criticizing these professional victims, and because of that, all of the other social media sites had to stop doing that to compete. So, Courtney, maybe it's time to learn how to ignore criticism that you don't like, or respond to it in the Coliseum of ideas, instead of using the typical radical leftist below-the-belt cancel culture tactics, because those don't work anymore. Anyway, thanks for watching, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video.
Go video. Check them out. Think before you sleep. Yeah, good video.